So I was recently asked how to just move forward with playing drums, like technique-wise, or what to learn, how to push yourself. And I think one of the biggest things that I've realized, because I've done this myself, is the fact that doing things like this really helps you. Because what I'm doing is I'm not just dropping the stick. I'm trying to understand how it works. And if you approach very simple things like this, if you really try to understand how it works, you're going to start to feel things in your hand, right? So instead of me holding the stick, right, or preventing it from bouncing, I'm allowing it to drop, and I'm trying to understand and feel how it works, and I follow it up. Like, that's a technical approach, but the mental approach is just feeling, is just understanding, just being observant and really feeling it in your hand. Because there's a difference between just dropping, right? Just dropping, and not feeling it come back up to you. And that's very important, I think. The thing that's also important, like this stick is a marching stick. It's huge. Like, it's way bigger. It's way thicker than a normal stick. It's heavier than a normal stick. It's good to practice with. But it's very different from the stick that I use to play drums. And if I understand how this stick works and how it rebounds and how it feels in my hand, so that I'm not preventing it from moving, and so I'm not forcing it, those are the two things, then this knowledge will apply to the normal stick that I use, right? And it's almost like a challenge because I have to adapt. And that's the whole point. It's like you feel the difference between this stick and that stick. You know, like you really feel it. You really feel the difference between the rebound. This is also good because when you play brushes are completely different. It's like a completely different instrument, right? So understanding how to feel what you're doing is very important. And just, I mean, people have used the analogy of basketball a lot with drums, right? Just learning how to rebound. It's like bouncing a basketball. So that's important. So if you haven't heard that before, you should really think about it in that way. Like, pretend you're bouncing a basketball. That's very helpful, very important. Once you figure out how to bounce it like a basketball, then you can start thinking, like, really, like, what is happening here, you know, and really try to feel in your hand how it feels. And the biggest thing for me, I think, is the focus. Like, when I just start practicing and I'm super not focused, not ready to practice, it's useless. I mean, what I'm doing, like, whatever, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. But if you really focus before you start and you really get into every single bounce and you hear how it sounds and how it feels, you're gonna feel a change in the tone. Your tone is gonna be clean. Even on the practice pad, you're gonna hear a difference. It's just gonna be better. It's gonna be more beautiful. I mean, we're talking about a piece of rubber here, but it still has a sound, you know? So you don't want it to sound like crap. If you can make the practice pad sound good, that's very, very good. I don't know, someone said that probably. We're all just reusing what we've learned, right? So I have no idea who said that, but probably a lot of smart people. So I think that's the biggest thing that I've been working on and that I would share with you to work on if you are looking for something to do, to push yourself to think about. Because I think in general, like, when you're a drummer, the thing that separates drummers into two different categories is their tone, how they play the drums, how they make the drums sound. I'm not talking about the drums. I'm not talking about tuning or anything. I'm talking about how the drummer plays the drums and how that affects the sound. That's one thing. And the second thing is like feel and time. And those two things are different, but they coexist, and that's a whole conversation. But basically, feel and the sound. I think those are the two things that separate drummers. So if you really want to push yourself, and I mean, you can do this at any level, it doesn't matter. Like if you really care about the sound that you produce, I think that's going to get you very far. Yeah.